Indonesia lies on an archipelago of 17,000 islands in Southeast Asia, with a population of 250 million people. More than 50% of Indonesia's people live in cities and towns. Around 29 million people, or 22% of the population, are estimated to live in slums with few basic services. It's common for households to dispose of toilet waste invisibly. This means either into a pit or a simple open-bottomed tanky septic from which the waste infiltrates into the ground or flows directly into an open storm water drain or into rivers, streams and canals.
We still see houses which dump their wastewater to open channels, riverbeds, drains and the neighborhood. And then we have others who have a septic tank but never have them dislodged regularly.
The result is many polluted rivers, high E. coli levels in many domestic wells, and an almost 50% rate of stunting in urban children under 5. In 2009, the government of Indonesia launched a program to improve urban and rural sanitation called the Acceleration of Sanitation Improvement in Human Settlements, or PPSP. Targets included the elimination of open defecation by 2019, the extension of centralized and decentralized sewage systems from 2% to 15% access, and the use of septic treatment facilities to treat fecal sludge, allowing 85% access to improved on-site sanitation.
Wastewater is only a small part of their work. It is difficult to choose between wastewater, solid waste, drainage and housing. But of course, we still have to convince the municipalities to agree that wastewater deserves to be a priority.
The fecal waste flow diagram, or SFD, was first used in Balikpapan in 2014 and then later in the capital, Jakarta. In the meanwhile, some local governments, such as Bekasi in West Java, have been developing improved fecal sludge management and septic treatment services.
The SFD data shows us two things. The first is that 10% of Jakarta's population is contributing to pollution of the water bodies through open defecation. The second is that 85% of Jakarta's population uses individual septic tanks and 49% are classified as leaking. So the SFD is really helpful to show us where Jakarta has sanitation problems. That's the point.
The National Planning and Coordination Agency and the Ministry of Public Works see the SFD as a useful advocacy and planning tool.
I appreciate the SFD highly. It illustrates the problem of fecal waste management from the household to the final treatment and shows the executive what they need to know about safely managed sanitation. Speaking of SFD, we believe that it will be helpful to assist the municipalities to identify their wastewater management status.
Untuk bisa memetakan dengan detail status dari penanganan air limbah di daerahnya.
While the SFD is seen as a really useful tool, the global format, as presented on the Susanna website, has needed some modifications, adjustments and translation for practical use in Indonesia. The World Bank team and other development partners have been working closely with the government to achieve this.
First, we reviewed the global SFD format provided. Then we adjusted it to make an Indonesian version, including reviewing the technologies to select the relevant types and best terminology.
The government and development partners are enthusiastic about the SFD. A number of challenges, however, have been encountered, which are being resolved through meetings and discussions.
The first big SFD training was held in May and June of 2017 by the Ministry of Public Works and Housing. The facilitators assigned to the municipalities and the members of sanitation working groups within the municipalities. The city sanitation groups were shocked to learn from their SFDs that they only focus on household access to sanitation, which is already high. Municipalities with 90% of access to toilets were surprised to learn that 70% of it was unsafely managed.
Karena biasanya mereka itu terfokus pada tingkat akses sanitasi di kotanya masing-masing yang umumnya sudah sangat tinggi.
We afterward agree with the Ministry of Public Works to massively implement the SFD. The recent PPSP training will allow us to spread the knowledge to 130 municipalities. Ultimately, we hope the quality of domestic wastewater management will improve, that it will be more safely managed and thereby reduce environmental contamination.
In a country as large as Indonesia, the government is planning to improve its urban sanitation with the SFD as an effective tool. The SFD can meet their needs for communication, advocacy and motivation to manage the whole sanitation chain.